How many lovers have you made today? Chapter 9, Unacquainted Love. Bonbon and Anon stand side by side as they look over his latest creation. Neither of them say anything as they simply mull over the entire piece, taking into account that neither of them have much experience when it comes to baked goods.
It's certainly not the best looking thing we've made,
Bonbon remarks.
but it's unique, and that makes all the difference.
Anon steps forward, pacing around the table to view the cake from all sides. It annoys him that this is the best he could manage. All the hours he's put in, and yet something is missing. This is meant to be the centerpiece to Celestia's party. It's lackluster, basic as they come. But it's the best he could do. Bonbon's right. He's not Pinkie Pie, and so his cake is elementary when compared to some of the things he'd seen her make. A few times, he's entertained the thought of folding, to ask Pinkie to come over and help, or at least give him some pointers, but he couldn't bring himself to do that. He wanted this to be special, to make Celestia something with his own hands, and having someone else do that didn't sit right with him. So instead, he took on this task on his own. Well, with some essential guidance from Bonbon. Neither of them have baked a cake before, so it was a learning process for the both of them. Anon will admit it was nice working in a kitchen with Bonbon again, and at times when he wanted to give up, she was there to push him to continue. This is the fruit of their labor. It may not look like much, but he can't deny a touch of pride for having made this cake. Still, he could at least add a little something to it. Your idea about the cutie mark was a nice touch. Anon admires the familiar cutie mark of the princess that takes up most of the top of the cake. It looked almost like an image printed on top. Lyra was very helpful in that regard. Do you think I should add some icing here? Anon traces the border of the cake. Rosebuds, perhaps?
Anon, the princess is going to love it no matter what you add.
She steps closer to the cake.
But if he must, a few roses wouldn't hurt.
Anon ponders this as he reflects on the choices he's made while creating this cake. For the base, he went with chocolate, as it's one of Celestia's favorites. But there's something very pedestrian about it. Then there's the frosting dilemma. He elected to go with a lilac mix, seeing as those flowers are plentiful in the garden, and he could only assume that they were her favorites. It gives the cake a subtle violet hue, which does help with the presentation. But that doesn't mitigate the plainness of it all. Though, he knows his worries aren't entirely on the cake either. Maybe I should have invited a few others, but I didn't want them blabbing and tipping her off. Do you think I should have taken the risk?
You're overthinking this.
Bonbon playfully hits his thigh.
She's going to be thrilled, so calm down and just let things happen.
Easy for you to say. Anon grabs a nearby pastry bag and writes Happy Birthday Tia at the top left corner. You don't have two alicorn princesses that worry about you, or a certifiably insane mayor that believes making amends is quickly solved.
You're right. I just have an alien that blows things out of proportion, a significant other that's in love with said alien, and a large-scale event coming up that I'm in charge of hosting.
Anon flinches. Touché.
Seriously, Anon, you're overthinking this.
She rests a hoof onto his leg.
Just take it easy for once and go with the flow.
Bonbon is right. He's making something out of nothing before anything can happen. As hard as it is, he'll try to relax and enjoy this day. Anon sets the pastry bag aside and grabs a candle from the counter, placing it in the center. I doubt they make enough candles for her age, so one will have to do. Anon stands up and gives the cake a once-over. Maybe I should add those rosebuds. Bonbon smiles at Anon's continued worried expression. So she stands on her hind hooves and gives him a hug from behind.
It's nice having you back. What Lyra said is true. I missed you.
I can't complain. Anon agrees as Bonbon lets go and takes a few steps away. Then both of them look at the cake once more. Rosebuds it is. Then I'll pack it up and head over to the castle. Bonbon relishes in the view of Anon making a new pastry bag and diligently working the small red rosebuds onto the rim of the cake. His precision work is impressive, because despite his nerves, his hands are as steady as they can be.
You know, we might need to consider adding a baked goods section to the shop.
Bonbon comments. Anon chortles. Yeah, right.
I'm serious.
She looks at her messy kitchen.
Well, maybe not now, but it's an idea.
Lyra's head pokes in through the door.
Bonnie, I really need help with something. Are you busy?
Bonbon cracks Anon a smile.
Well, no rest for us, it seems. Good luck.
Here's to hoping I don't need it. Anon adds his finishing touches. There. He can feel his nerves starting to act up. Just one step at a time. Well, here she is. One of the princesses of Equestria, considered all-powerful and full of wisdom, slumped upon her throne with a sour look on her face. She does nothing more than face the door to her throne room, where not a single citizen has come to visit. It's not surprising to her. The Wonder Festival is but a few days away, and with that comes last-minute changes. Ponies purchasing new garments to doll themselves up as a means of showing off prestige. Others focusing on their business, ensuring that their wares are cleaned, organized, and readily available for the masses that will be passing through. A lot of creatures throughout Equestria and outside of it will be attending, so business will be booming. Though this is of little concern to the princess. She's been in a crummy mood all week. A single letter came from Anon a few days ago, beguiling her in a brief tale of how he's made amends with his business associates. And due to their invitation to being one of the shops within the Colosseum, he needed to help them make sure everything was in order. She's been pondering as to what led to this sudden change in what she believed was a very strained relationship between them. Not that she believes he's lying, but she would be remiss to not think that something else was a hoof. Celestia slams her hoof onto the four-leg rest of her throne in a fit of anger. She wouldn't be as annoyed as she is if he at least came by to visit. He hasn't come by to rest, or even get a change of clothes as far as she knows. Brooding, she crosses her hooves with a grunt. Perhaps he's keeping his distance after their intimate discussion. She collapses into her throne with a moan.
Why must my thoughts misguide me?
Celestia questions herself.
What could he be up to? I find myself falling into the same mindset.
Celestia lazily glances over at her sister, who's standing alongside her.
Hello, Luna. Are you in need of something? Solely looking to share my concerns.
Celestia sits up to properly face her sibling.
Is he still not dreamwalking?
Luna nods.
I'm afraid so. He's either too fatigued to dream or utterly rejecting my entry. Either way, I don't like it. Well, there is the festival.
Celestia attempts to reason.
I'm sure that's why he's so busy. True, but several things have crossed my mind.
Luna recalls when she found Anon a week ago, recovering from a nightmare. The stench of that vermin was all over him.
He's still holding secrets. But I suppose we can't expect him to always speak of what lies within a soul. I know you tried your best regarding that, but he'll need time.
Celestia nods glumly.
Agreed. Still, I can't stand having him so far from me. My heart aches. Mine too, Tia. Though we must give him time. Wouldn't want to scare him away now, would we?
Luna jokes. That helps lift Celestia's spirit a little.
You are correct. So, what do you have planned for the day? Blossom has notified me that a few recruits have come in. She wants me to test their mental fortitude.
Celestia recoils.
Oh, no, not the test, right?
Luna smirks.
Oh yes, sister. The test.
Celestia briefly recalls the one time she was subject to this test her sister concocted. It was brutal, as it was efficient. A collection of tests to push a creature to their absolute limit of both body and mind. During their period of war, it was paramount to train soldiers as quickly as they could. But they didn't want to send colts out there unprepared to die needlessly. So, her sister created this test. Broken stallions and mares would be left behind, and those who endured were fit enough to fight. The first few tests were a breeze, but the mental version was where most of them were scarred. Celestia didn't want her sister to do these tests without having experienced them herself, and she will freely admit that parts of it still haunt her. Because, as she now thinks back, those were the first signs of Nightmare Moon, a dark abyss that drove a pony mad with their greatest fears and scenarios of taking a life. Celestia can still hear the laughter of the mare in the moon, but gave it little thoughts as she believed it was part of the test. She shakes those memories clear as she addresses her sister.
Luna, you know I keep my distance from your knights, but don't you think that training is a bit too harsh? It was perfectly fine considering the time, but we're at peace now. Call me paranoid if you wish, Tia, but I want to assure my knights are always equipped for the worst. Very well.
Celestia yields.
I'm to assume that training will keep you occupied?
She nods.
Afraid so. I doubt I'll get any rest or breaks. Another day alone.
Celestia slumps again into her throne.
Come now. I'm sure you'll find something.
Luna's ears perk up as she beams.
Or something will find you.
Celestia raises a brow as the throne room door opens. Moving inside is none other than Anon. He gives both sisters a wave as he strolls up to greet them. Hey there, sorry for being so busy. Luna swiftly grabs onto Anon as he embraces her without a fight. Nice to see you too, he states, patting her back a few times.
We need to speak tonight about you-know-what.
Luna whispers for only Anon to catch. I'll be free, he whispers in response. Luna steps away.
I have some training to do. A pleasant day to you both.
Bye. Both Anon and Celestia say as Luna leaves. At this rate, I don't think she'll ever drop that grudge with Nightmare Moon. Then again, could you really blame her? Anywho, let's get on to our lovely donators. Top donators: Jessie Smith, Zar630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and IronSky. Magic109, JockeTF, Darkside Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Sky, Austin Roland, Stu Hex, or Brother Mortar, Domicon Library, Winside 9052, Will, Chris Twiki, Rysel, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancer Crust, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat GG of Murder Princess, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.